Right now, follow the results in the Alabama Senate race as they come in live. The results of a special Senate election in Alabama on Tuesday will carry immense national implications for President Trump and both parties, after a strange and ugly campaign left voters exhausted by the politicking and confused at the polls. A victory by the Republican candidate, Roy S. Moore, who has been accused of sexual misconduct with teenage girls, would illustrate the enduring limitations of Democrats in the deeply conservative South. A win by his Democratic rival, Doug Jones, to fill the seat left vacant when the president appointed Jeff Sessions as Attorney General, would shrink Republicans' Senate advantage to a single seat, putting their majority in play. Mr. Trump, who ultimately gave Mr. Moore his full-throated endorsement, tweeted his support on Tuesday morning, "Roy Moore will always vote with us." Mr. Jones, who cast his ballot early, will need strong turnout from black, urban and suburban white voters. Mr. Moore, who rode his horse to the polls, will need support from rural white voters. Read how Mr. Moore's sexual misconduct scandal unfolded. Follow our reporters on the ground on Twitter, Jess Bidgood, Alan Blinder, Alexander Burns, Richard Fawcett, and Jonathan Martin. Sign up for the morning briefing for politics news and a daily look at what you need to know to begin your day. For Republicans, it did not have to come to this, writes Alexander Burns, one of our political reporters. Mr. Moore was never inevitable. Read more in our outline of the decisions that Republican leaders made to bring things to this point. ________ In Romer, Alabama, about 20 miles south of Montgomery, a precinct captain was reported to have engaged a sheriff's deputy to confirm the identities of voters after they had displayed one of the approved photo ID cards required by state law, according to Kristen Clark, the president of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. Basically, they're complaining about voter intimidation at the hands of precinct officials, Ms. Clark said the Lawyers Committee leads a consortium of civil rights groups that are staffing a phone and email hotline, Election Protection, to field questions and complaints about the election. Ms. Clark said the hotline was investigating reports from voters who said they had received text messages telling them falsely that the locations of their polling places had changed. Some voters also were complaining that they had not received absentee ballots, she said. Still others were confused about their eligibility after going to the polls or checking a state government website to locate their polling place and discovering that they had been designated inactive voters, according to the Lawyers Committee and the ACLU of Alabama. John H. Merrill, the Alabama Secretary of State, said those people were eligible to vote, but had been placed on a list of inactive voters after they failed to cast ballots in several elections. He said they could update their personal information at their polling place.